Teaching children with special needs requires the love of teaching and patience to create an environment for success while seeing minimal progress increments. Teaching is also about giving a child a great deal of hope and opportunity for success. Being a teacher sounds like it has a load of responsibility, but is teaching an autistic child just as hard? Anita Ritter is a special education teacher at an elementary school. She is also very familiar with teaching autistic children and watching them progress in their learning through different styles. Anita is also very familiar with how mainstreaming autistic children into typical classrooms is done properly. For those who do not know, autism causes children to experience the world differently than the way most children do. It is hard for autistic children to talk or express themselves using words. Children who do have autism often keep to themselves and do not socialize very well. Autism can also present itself in different ways with each child, which means that not all children benefit from a general education setting at the same level. Anita Ritter was also able to answer a few questions about how important it can be to let autistic children into typical classrooms instead of being contained in a special needs classroom day in and day out. This process can also be very beneficial to the non-autistic child as well.
Take two.
Do you believe it can be beneficial for children with autism to mainstream into the regular classroom style?
Yes, some children with autism can very much benefit from interactions with the so-called typical peer. You have to keep in mind that every child will not benefit from the same learning style. Some children are not able to benefit from social, education, and communication demands of the general education learning skills that will help them be successful in the school life. We also have to take each individual child's strengths and weaknesses into consideration and make these decisions on an individual basis.
So do you believe mainstreaming an autistic child into the classroom could be beneficial to the non-autistic child as well?
Absolutely, Megan. The typical child will also benefit from children with special needs in their classrooms. It develops an understanding of the individual differences and instills in them a compassion for others. It also teaches them how to work and learn with others that may not see the world around them in the same way. I'm often reminded of a situation that happened in one of our schools where a child with autism was mainstreamed in a regular education environment. During an awards assembly, a child with autism was presented with an award, but as she was walking back to the risers with her peers, she became disoriented and was not sure where to stand. Before an adult could stop to assist her, a typical peer was observant of her need. He stepped in gently to guide her where the other classmates were standing. In this situation, the child with autism was able to participate in an activity and be acknowledged with her peers, and a child was able to experience the joy of helping others.
So is a regular classroom teacher qualified to have an autistic child in the classroom, or is a special education teacher required to observe the classroom?
Well, as said before, children with autism present themselves in very different ways. Some children in our school systems have autism but do not require any assistance from the Exceptional Children's Program and function just as well as their peers do. However, some children do require strategies put in place in the classroom to increase the benefit of the environment, while some children need direct instruction from an exceptional children's teacher. It is all very individualized for each child.
And my last question is, do you believe keeping an autistic child in a special education classroom is isolating him or her from learning any different experiences that could help them later in life?
I believe that all children should be included in the regular education environment with their typical peers to maximize the level possible while meeting all educational needs. It allows them to make connections with their peers while learning and growing. One of the core features of autism is the delay in social skills. This is present in all children with autism at some level. As children are mainstreamed, they experience increased social opportunities with peers, and when successful, it leads to better outcomes in life.
Well, thank you so much, Ms. Ritter, for helping me answer these questions.
You're very welcome.
From Anita's responses, you can see how important it is to mainstream children into the regular classroom environment. Children learn so many valuable social skills while in school on the regular basis. It can be extremely beneficial for a student to learn social skills with a disabled child as well for future references. Being in a regular classroom environment will eventually get the autistic child comfortable enough to react in a situation where they might need help, but instead of asking the teacher for help, the autistic child can refer to the non-autistic child for assistance. Some simple facts on autism. Autism occurs in 1 out of every 150 children. The autism ribbon is a multicolor ribbon with jigsaw pieces. The puzzle pattern reflects the mystery and complexity of the autism spectrum. The Autism Awareness Puzzle Ribbon colors and shapes represent the diversity of the people and families living with the condition. The brightness of the puzzle ribbon color signals hope that though increased awareness of autism, early intervention, and appropriate treatments, people with autism will lead fuller and more complex lives.